And yes, we are live, and it is my intentional parenting journey, and we are live with Ugonwa. Ugonwa is streaming live all the way from Abuja, Nigeria. So we're in the same city, just that we are not in the same location. Thank you so much, Ugonwa, for being here. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. It's a great pleasure to have you, and thank you for doing this with us.
Thank you very much, Coach. It's such a great honor to be here with you, ma.
All righty. So, okay, you might want to actually check that earpiece again. Maybe you
Okay,
just take it out, yes,
okay.
because it has some sort of noise. This is better. Now we can hear you. All righty, great. Gonwa is streaming live with us on my intentional parenting journey. Who has been enjoying this my intentional parenting journey? If you haven't, I have. It's been an amazing, amazing time out with all the others sharing their journey. And to even crown it, I've been privileged to actually hear others share their journey directly to me. All right. And yes, somebody is saying, Coach, are you finally back? I am finally back. Oh, after like I spent forever in Lagos. Lagos people wanted to take me away. But I'm finally back. Yes. All righty. And thank you again and again and again for joining me. Go on. I do not, I don't think, I'm trying to think whether we've met. I don't think so. I'm going to be hearing Ugonwa's journey just like you were hearing it. Fresh, just like that. So I love it when I listen to, journeys that I haven't heard, things that have happened to people that we don't even know about. Ugonwa, how did you join the inner circle? How did you get here? Oh, so sorry. Please start again. You were muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Alrighty.
Mhm.
Good Coach, good morning, everyone. It's such a great honor to be here sharing my journey with you today. Um, it's a short journey, yes. I joined Inner Circle last year, December 2023, but that wasn't my first time of hearing about Coach Wendy. Mhm. It was actually, should I say, how many years ago? It was 2019. I got a random mail and talking about parenting. It was actually a call to pre-order some books. And when I looked at it, I was like, no, 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 this is not for me because I just had our first child, and I was like, this must be for parents with grown children having challenges and all that. I kept getting those mails, but I didn't really feel it was necessary. Sincerely, I felt we are doing well. We are doing very well. The boy is cool, he's calm. Why am I? In fact, I was even angry that why would someone be teaching parents how to parent? And I was like, our parents didn't do all this. And why are we stressing ourselves? It was like this is going to be so much stress, and I felt it wasn't necessary. And because I wasn't interested in those meals, I stopped checking them. And um, as the journey progressed, the little boy started growing, and I think 2022, he turned 6, and I started seeing all those masculine energy, and I was like, what happened to my sweet boy? Why is he getting angry all the time? Where is this so much energy coming from? This is not the sweet boy I had. And sincerely, I didn't even realize I had to go back to that mail to check and see what was happening. Sorry, ma, please, can you
Oh,
for
it's
me?
fine. Oh, it's fine. Go ahead. All right. I think that our guest have a power outage. All right. And I'm sure that she's going to be back. She's been sharing on her intentional parenting journey. And part of what she said was that I have been on this thing. I knew, I saw it, but I didn't join. She's just starting to share her journey and all of the things that's happening so far. All right. So we just started this morning. Alrighty. So I am looking forward to hearing her, chronicle her journey and how she started and what she did to overcome challenges and Alrighty. So I think that we are back. Can you hear me, ma?
Yes, very well, coach. I'm sorry for that, ma.
Oh,
So,
that's fine. Ma. Oh,
okay.
don't
So I
produce
was
internet.
sharing how I joined the inner circle. So my boy started showing me this kind of masculine energy, and I was like, ah, this is not this is not the sweet boy I once had. And I started seeing Shaggy sincerely. And one of those days, because I had already joined the intentional parents group on Facebook. Whenever I get to Facebook, I still see some of the comments, and I was like, these people are just jonesing, let them just be deceiving themselves. Why wouldn't you shout? Why wouldn't you even correct a child? And then one of those days, I saw the advert on Certificate Like a Pro. That was 2022. And I felt, okay, I actually want to get this right, because thinking about what our parents had with us, it wasn't nice. And I felt, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe I'll just get into this course, learn how to have a proper sex education with my son, and then I will come out, because this academy, this inner circle, no, 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 it's going to be so much stress. So I got into the course, and the first thing that shocked me was the structure. Sincerely, inner circle has this excellence, the exude excellence. I was like, why is everything prim and proper? Why are they so organized? Is it not just to have us teach us how to educate our children about sex? And but I joined and actually blew my mind away. And then I think that same year too, I joined the No Yelling Challenge, because it was then I understood that you can't really tame yourself to be a quiet person until you have children. That's coming from the other angle. I've actually been a very quiet person. I'll be in the house, you won't hear my voice. But then I started shouting, I started yelling, I started screaming, I started hitting my son. And I said, no, this is not me. So I joined the No Yelling Challenge, learned a lot of principles, and then started implementing after the course, because I felt after this course, I would just walk away and I'll work with what I had. So I started implementing. I started with taking deep breaths. And sincerely, after 3 months, I went back to reset. He was just like, remember the story in the Bible where a man was demon possessed, and
Yes.
yes, so when he was delivered and there was nothing done, no structures in place, there was a
Yeah.
removal, but there wasn't a replacement. The Bible said that the latter end of that man was worse than his former.
Was.
That was my
Mm,
case. The yelling now increased so much. And this was because now I can realize that there were no structures in place, no accountability system. And I felt, okay, I have all the principles, I have all the tips, I have all the hacks. But because there was no system to keep me in check, I went back to reset. So 2022, no, 2023, I had a little slight change in my family dynamics, and my husband got so busy at work, and it was as if I was parenting alone, technically, and I was exhausted. The yelling became so much, and that was the year I resigned from my job and started to have my own personal practice, because I felt, okay, now I will have the time to parent these children. But I didn't realize that you can have the best intentions, but if you don't have structures in place, you can't get it right. So
mm,
I felt I had the time, but because I didn't know what to do with the time, and I didn't know how to use the time, and there were no
mm,
structures in office. I did not do anything. So it was so intense that at this point we have we had three children, two boys and a girl. Tochukwu, the first one, was already 7, and I was seeing that energy like times 100. I had this system where I would pick them from school and then I would take them to the office where I work, where I practice, and I just created a small place like where I'm staying now, a place for them to stay, and then I'll tell them stay here and keep quiet. But then it was Coach Omalala that said play is children's food or their job. And I like, how would they be playing all the time? And so when they needed to play, there was no expression for them to play. And I started shouting, I started yelling. One of those days I was talking with a client, and then my son came to ask a question. I yelled at him, and I saw this fear in his eyes. Like he was standing right in front of me, but he was running away. That night I said, no, 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 no. There must be a better way. There must really be a better way. I didn't like what I saw in his eyes that day. He
mm,
left the place. I didn't even bother to check where he went to, but I knew that I was losing my son. I knew I was losing my son. So after
mm,
that, I know the funny thing, after those episodes of yelling and hitting, I would still go back and I would cry because I
mm,
knew I wasn't getting it right. So I had to go back to, because one thing about the inner circle, the structure is so superb that once you've had a course, you remain in the platform and you're going to be getting prompts about courses and other information. So I went back to my No Yelling Challenge 2022, and then I finally saw um the advert for inner circle. I have to point out that it was not the money. I had the money to pay 2022, because a lot of people might be in my situation now and they are thinking, what's even the big deal?
mm,
A lot of people will have the money, but they've not seen the need to
mm,
get these things right. You know, the first webinar I attended, the induction webinar, there was one of the coaches made a comment. He said, we are co-creators with God. And I was like, is that deep? That was when it dawned on me that I've been saying it was not necessary. There was actually no need. But now I can see that God entrusted these seeds, these destinies into my hands for me to refine them. So it wasn't really about the money, because I paid and then I joined the waiting list. Because as
mm,
at that point, I realized that I needed a higher knowledge. I realized that my methods were not working. So that was how 2023 I joined the inner circle. From December 1 till now, I've been here, and I think I've come back to that my quiet spirits. Yelling has reduced drastically. Sincerely, it was my first son. Our first son dragged me to the inner circle. But today, I can say that I entered inner circle for myself, because when I heard parenting is about tea, I was like, Ogenekwa, what are these people saying? As in, are we not supposed to learn how to, make these children behave? But today, I can say that it's actually about me, because coach, don't worry. Let's get into the journey. So that was how I joined the inner circle December 2023. Thank you very much, ma'am.
wow, 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 wow. You're listening to Ugonwa Naya Ugonwa Se Oginekwa. What are they saying here? Alrighty. And if you didn't hear that Igbo part, why are you not Igbo now? Thank you so much for joining me this morning. It is such a pleasure having you here. And if you're just joining us, you have not shared this link with a family or a friend, please, please do that now before we continue. You're listening to Gonwa Naya. Share with us on my intentional parenting journey. And one thing that she said that was very striking to me was that I resigned my job, right? I resigned my job to sit at home, but I still didn't know what it is. Brenda said having more time. we know structure is useless. So it is one thing to say, I just want to have time for my children. Uh-huh. And then after having time, then what? That's a question that I always, ask people. So intentions are right, intentions are not enough. With intentions, you need systems. Ugonwa, when she was talked about the man who was I like that story a lot. I like that story a lot. The man who was um the evil spirit, right? Was he was casted out of the evil spirit, and he was prayed for. Now, when people describe or when people explain or when people interpret that scripture, they usually say that, oh, maybe the man is because the man didn't know what else to do. When the spirit came in, he didn't find the real ground. So of course, um, there was no ground for that for it to be built. And of course, more spirit came in. But beyond that, is that that man had not built capacity and have not created systems to ward off the evil spirit. So he needed to have gotten to a place where he would have created some sort of systems and structures that will ensure that when this evil spirit comes back, they find something that will actually stop them. They find something that would actually stop them from entering. But when they got there, right, when they got to the place, they found out that not just that, the Bible said he found that it was empty. That emptiness is not that, oh, the man, there was something else. That emptiness is the systems and the structure. So, most times we create goals. We say, oh, this is where we want to be. But you find out that at some point you don't have what it is to deliver on it. So one of my favorite insights in my upcoming book, The Parenting Advantage, is expectation. So that book was chronicled around 5 E's of becoming an advantage to your child. And one of the 5 E's, I won't tell you the others, is expectation. You need to read the book. Now, in expectation, I said that expectation is a powerful tool in parenting. If you raise your child without expectations, you will kill the child, literally. Now, the problem is not the expectation. The problem is that we don't have what it is to actually ensure that our expectations will be cut off. So we heap expectations on top of our children's head, and they now become pressure. Because before you create an expectation, there has to be something that will work the expectation. So that's why we build this thing on castles. That's why you create New Year resolution and it never actually comes to pass. That's why Ugonwa was sharing that, she attended the No Yelling Challenge 3 months. Oh, she was good, everything. Next 3 months, everything went away. In fact, she became worse. Why? Because she didn't build the capacity and the systems to actually get that thing to build on it. Right? So it is important that we look at the capacity more than even look at the miracles. The sustainability of your miracle will be in the capacity that you have built. It is one thing to have a miracle, it is another thing to build capacity for sustainability. They're not the same thing. And when you don't have capacity, that's why you see people, they used to, be so this, and then all of a sudden, that thing it looks like luck. No, it's not luck. Without capacity, it will look like luck. But with capacity, you can actually stay, like I say, with exactitude, determine where you're going. Success is determinable. You can determine it. Failure is determinable. You can determine it. So there's nothing like, no, I don't know. Nobody knows tomorrow. Nobody knows what will happen. No, I tell people that if I sit with you and I look at your habits in one day, I can tell you where you're going to. I can tell you whether you are going headed for success or headed for failure. So it is in the capacity we build that we can actually eventually sustain our miracles. You see someone who was healed today, tomorrow they're unhealed because they don't have the capacity to sustain that miracle. I like the way that Ugonwa put it, and reminding me of that story. Amazing, amazing. And if you are listening to me, please, I want you to share this with a family and a friend, and then we will get them to also join us at my intentional parenting journey. Hey, Brenda, yes, October 7th is the wait list for you to pre-order that book. It's a flash sale, 1 day flash sale. After that day, of course, we will get on it. And trust me, they will be the best parenting books you've ever read. Over to you, Gonwa, please. Tell me, how have the inner circle reviewed, transformed, turned, changed your journey? Being someone who has been on the journey of tips and hacks. You know that woman who was, at the table, who Jesus Christ literally called the dog and said, "See, healing is for children, it's not for dogs." He said, "Just give me the crumbs." And I wonder what would have happened to that woman if she was seated, to eat even with Jesus. So talk to us. How has your journey been? Your marriage, your financing, whatever angle you want to take it to. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Like I said, I joined December 2023, and I thought it was one of those programs. In fact, when I heard it was going to be 1 year, I'm sure maybe after 3 months they will crash, or maybe they will say we cannot continue. Because sincerely, I didn't have anybody in my circle that has ever talked about inner circle, so I didn't know about the structures. I didn't know, but the no yelling challenge actually struck me. There was one of the coaches, Miss Sila, I can't remember. She also spoke during the parenting conference. So I was like, okay, okay, good stuff. So, but when I started, I got a journal, I got a book for my jottings, and so. But during the induction webinar, I was actually lying down casually on the bed, and when they said we party with knowledge here, I didn't know what that meant. I was like, okay, let me see what was happening. But then the bullet started coming, coach. Ah, they said parenting is about you. I jumped up. I was like, okay. And it made me understand that if I get to become, my children will effortlessly become. So it was just about me. So I'm going to be sharing the impact of TIP on my life personally, because it was in my becoming that I started seeing my wins. I remember I said I came because of our first son. But then when I came in, I decided to, in fact, you don't even need to decide. See, I'm a medical person, and there's something we call individualized therapy, right? So you get to see maybe three persons, Mr. ABC, having the same symptoms. In fact, they get the same diagnosis, right? But then their therapy will be tailored to them individually based on their differences. You get, so that's the concept of individualized therapy. So when you come into the yard, the first thing that you need to do is to submit yourself to the inner circle medical system, because you're going to get your diagnosis. When you get your diagnosis and then you submit yourself to the individualized therapy, that's when you start becoming. That's when you start seeing your wins. So when I came in, I saw that I had no structures. I had no structures. That's why I come to the office in the morning, I'm touching this, I'm touching that, and at the end of the day, I get overwhelmed. So by the time I'm picking the children from school, I'm already tired out. And when I ask myself, what did I do? And I can't even really say I achieved this, but I'm tired. And because I'm tired, I start bleeding on people that didn't hurt me. That's one of coach's favorite. You start bleeding on people that didn't hurt you. So the first thing Inner Circle did for me was to give me structures. Inner Circle helped me to plan my life. So
Hmm.
Like now, when I get to the office, I have my journal, I make my to-do list. It could just be two things, and I work towards achieving these two things. So I'm achieving a lot, even with how busy I could get, because I've decided to, give my life a structure. So I'm no longer everywhere trying to do this, trying to do that. I put myself on the system. What do I have to do today? How many things can I achieve this morning and I get it? So that was the first thing inner circle did for me. It gave me structure, because when I joined, it was quite overwhelming. Before I knew what was happening, I was seeing a lot of chats in my cohorts. I'm in cohort 1K. Shout out to all my cohort members. And I was like, where have I been? What are they doing here? A lot of people are already sharing, I've done this, I've done that. And I was like, maybe they are not busy. Me, I'm very busy now. But when I started seeing these people, where they work and what they do, and I said, something must really be wrong with me. And that was when this was happening in January, coach. That was when I said, Mba, I have to really do something, because I always had in mind why I joined. I joined because of Tochukwu, our first son. So I was like, I must get it right with him. So I said, no, I have to plan myself. And the people's comments actually helped me, because I got to realize that, okay, what is really important now. So the first thing Inner Circle did for me as a person was to give me structure. It gave me this mindset that, okay, I can actually be organized. So I get to plan my life, I get to plan my days, and I achieve a lot of things. So the second thing Inner Circle did for me was to give me peace.
Mm.
I think one of the reasons why I yelled a lot then was because I'm this kind of person that would want to have things under control.
Mm.
I might look quiet and maybe she doesn't talk so much, but in my head, the noise that is going on in my head. Because when I come to the house, why is this not here? Why? I'm trying to put things like, let me have them under control. So inner circle helped me to realize that, see, flow with the moments, enjoy the moment and as it goes, and I losing my grip on things. I losing my grip on things. So that was the second thing Inner Circle did for me. Then it also helped me in my spiritual life. Sincerely, when I joined Inner Circle, I was looking out for the principles. I said, let me see where they will even get the things that they will teach us. Because when they said they will teach you how to parent, I was like, okay, let me even know what are they going to say. So, but when coach started teaching, the coaches that came in, and then I listened so much, I saw that, oh, is actually coming from the scriptures. That was even when I knew that I didn't even know much. Sincerely, I didn't know much. So it took me back to the scriptures. I started studying. After, in fact, the one that blew my mind was when we had that webinar. What kind of parent are you? The Paul of our times. A lot of I said, where is coach getting this insight from? So everything was coming from the scriptures, and then he took me back to the scriptures to study to show myself approved. The next one will be in my career. It was one of those days we had this tool about making our children to understand that, don't ask them what do you want to be, ask them what problems would you want to solve. you know most of the tools, we might be thinking that it's for the children, but it's actually for us. I sat down at work and I said, okay, it's not really about what you want to be, it's about the problems you can solve. Because I remember when we had that conversation, we even had an acronym: discover a problem, provide a solution, you provide value, and you get paid. And then in my vicinity where I practice is a community. So I realized that when you know that inner circle has entered you is when you start, your conversations will be centered around inner circle. You talk about, you can't keep quiet. That's when you know that you have caught the fire. So when
Mm.
I see patients and I before I would just enter in as we started talking. And then they were like, okay, these books you're talking about, how do we get them? Then I'll tell them, okay, you have to go here, you have to go. Then they were like, we need these books here. Coach, that was how I caused the vision of having a bookshop in my pharmacy.
Oh,
And
wow.
now I became one of TIP distributors. So when I talk to people about books, when I talk to people about inner circle, they want to see it in tangible forms. And I tell them, okay, this is connect to correct. This is discipline that works. And I recommend books. So people come and say, we thought this was just a pharmacy. I say, yes, we attend to the physical needs, the emotional needs, in fact, to your spiritual needs. So when parenting is your wahala, we have what to give you. So that's actually, in fact, the profits that come from that section of the business is enough for me to enroll for inner circle as in many years. So this was how this concept of making our children to provide value, to look around their environment and see the problems they can solve, and then just provide value, and then you get paid for it. So it has helped me in this. 2 years ago, I got a scholarship to do a course on data analytics. Still, because of the overwhelm, I didn't finish it, and I felt bad because I felt okay. This is for because all my classmates were single ladies, and I felt they don't have time. They have time. Me, I don't have time. But then, when after the time management and energy management webinar, I realized that I can actually do this. Coach, I put in the time, I put in the
Mm.
effort, I studied my energy cycle. I knew when my energy level was high. And that was how I did it. Coach, I became the best student in that cohort. In fact,
Wow.
when they called out the best graduating student, people were like, who is she? Because
Mm.
I cannot be in the classes as in every single day. I just go into the class, greet the lecturer, and mark my attendance, and then maybe I decide to leave. But then every morning I go through the courses. So that was the strategy that helped me because I understood my energy level, I understood my energy cycle, and then it was not hard. Coach, when you say success, you can know with exactitude how your tomorrow is going to be. It's true
Mm. Mm.
because it
Mm.
was not a hard thing. I just put
Mm.
in, okay, I do this, I do that, I watch the videos, I listen to the lectures, I go to the community, I make comments, I encourage people, and that was how I became the best graduating student in that set. So Inner Circle has really helped me so much, first in my life, because now I can say that parenting is really about me. Then
Mm.
in my relationship with my children, that same child that I joined the inner circle just because of him is the sweetest child now. You know,
Mm.
when he comes to me and we have conversations and he said, Mommy, I really feel for my classmates that their parents are not in the inner circle.
Mm.
Because when I see them talk, when I see them discuss some things, I really feel bad for them. And I really thank God that you're my mom. And I thank God that daddy is also learning from Coach Wendy because sincerely, Coach, I said, yes, that's the parenting advantage. This is the advantage I'm giving you for being your parent. So we are not talking about perfection oh, because it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Mhm.
In fact, the other day, the connection too was to, have siblings work together on a task. And inner circle will make you think. When I joined inner circle, I started thinking, as in I started making use of my brain.
Mm.
Then when the puzzles buy this, buy that, I was like, okay, okay, must we buy this, must we buy that? And then God says something, do not commercialize your parenting. Start from where you are. An intentional parent is a thinking parent. Coach, you see me when we dispense some medications in the pharmacy, I pack the cartons. I'll be packing them, I'll be keeping them.
Mm.
The treasure hunt, I'll design it by myself. I started thinking, okay, this tool is coming to me today. Coach will always say, know the why, not just the how. When I realized the why, I would now sit and I'll say, okay, how do I make this relatable to my children? How do I make this relatable to them? And then I began to think, I began to plan. So for that task, I'm just trying to say that when people come into the yard, maybe they'll be looking for how to have a perfect child. It's not about perfection, it's about your process, about your journey. We've had a lot of wins. Before I even joined the inner circle, I reached out to coach about a misbehavior in quotes I felt I had with my son. He was 7 then. You can't leave him in the house to go out. He will be crying. And I was like, why are you crying? You have your younger ones. They are not crying. I can't even step out for 5 minutes. It was so much. And coach said, go and read Connect to Correct. And I was like, where is the relationship now? Connect to Correct. In fact, now I say that that book is one medicine cures all. You know, what is it? Yoruba people will say, Bobo Nishe.
I'm
That
telling
book, no matter what, just get it. It will cure every disease. So when I read it and I realized that, oh, I've not connected with this child. I'm setting an expectation for him that I've not been able to connect to communicate to him. So, but now, coach, when I sent you a chat that I've started enjoying my baby girl lifestyle. Oh, before I would do this, I would do that, I would do this. But then I said, Tochukwu, there's no lion outside though. That's what our coach said. Go, you'll be fine. You will
you.
come back. And when
Mm,
he goes and he comes back, we sit down and we have conversations. Okay, how did he go? He will now tell me what happened. I'll say, what do you think? And that's how we've been going. We've had a lot of wins, a lot of victories that
mm,
maybe the space here will not be enough for me to share. But it's not about perfection. Because currently, when we did that task about working together, because I felt, okay, they might be fighting small fights, but we don't have this issue in our home.
mm,
So I asked them, I started thinking, what can we do? I remember that we washed clothes that day. And normally, Tochko will be the one to, pack the clothes. So when we are going back, I asked them, you're going to be working together today, and I'm sure you're going to be learning a lot today. And they said, okay, what are we going to be learning now? Is it not just to pack clothes? I said, you will do this work together because normally Tochko will pack the clothes while his younger brother will sort the clothes. Coach, normally, because we have routines, the first thing we did when we entered the inner circle after having our media plan and our family values was to draw routines down to our daughter that was 2 then. She had her routines. So when you come back from school, I just enter into my room, rest, and then maybe do 1 or 2 work. But they follow their routines. In fact, they down to our daughter, she will follow the routines. So I was in my room then resting. The next thing, the younger brother came in and said, Mommy, I'm not working again. I said, what happened? He said, Tochku said, get out. I said, okay now. But remember, it's a teamwork, so you have to go and join him. He didn't want to go. I allowed him because, coach will always say discipline is not an emergency. It must not be then, it must not be immediate. So the next thing, coach came in and said, Chedoze, Mommy, did you ask Chedoze to come in and rest? I said, no, I'm just reading my books. Chedoze said, but you asked me to go out and I went away. He now said, okay, in this house, we talk to ourselves nicely and respectfully. Please, can you join me now? That was how he went. After 5 minutes, he came back again. They had issues. And coach said, do not interfere. Don't interfere. I said, so this small thing now can lead to this kind. So I really have work to do. My thought process changed in the inner circle.
mm,
The very thing that would get me agitated, I would just be calm about it. I said, okay, I will think about it. Whenever I see a deficiency, I know that there is something I have to do. And I ask
mm,
myself, there's a skill lacking here. And I start to think, what do I do to make sure that this is corrected? Coach will always say, you don't have the right to judge a child that you have not taught. So I said, maybe the method I used to teach didn't work. Let's teach again. So Tochukwu fell down actually while packing the clothes because he was alone. When he came in crying, his brother said, wow, what happened to you? He said, I fell down because you left me. And he quickly joined him and they packed the clothes. Coach, it took them 1 hour. Something that should have been for 10 minutes, it took them 1 hour. And I didn't want to interfere because I said, this is a journey. We are learning on this journey. So when they were done, Tochko said, Mommy, when you said we should work together because a lot of lessons will be learned, I didn't know. But now I know that I've learned a lot of lessons. And coach, that was a teachable moment. I started talking about Cain and Abel. Remember when you said the moment Cain lost it was when he asked God, am I my brother's keeper? So I
Yeah.
said, Chido, have you seen it? You left your brother and then he fell down. So it was actually a very good time for them to hug themselves and then they now said brothers for life. So it's not really about perfection, it's about the process, it's about learning while on the journey, it's about starting from where you are, it's about staying focused. And then my relationship, like I said, I had wanted to have things under my control. I remember one time we went for a medical outreach, this was years ago, and then I felt that my husband was busy, discussing with somebody. I'm sure he's here. He wouldn't even remember this story. He was discussing with somebody. I was like, I've not seen that. A lot of patients are here to be seen. Let's walk, let's walk. And immediately he just looked at me and said, must it be your way? And I was like, okay, this is a public space. Let me just mellow. Coach, that was actually my trauma then because I had wanted to be in control. You people should not stop. Let's do the work. Let's do the work. So inner circle has made me to really see that it's not just about how you want it. The gift of perspective, calming down, peace, rest as a skill. Now I get to listen to him because his core love language is quality time. But then I was not having it because as he's talking, I'm just in my mind. I should have done it this way now. Can't you see? It's because you didn't do this way. That's why this thing happened. And then he asked me one day, if I don't talk to you, who should I talk to? You know, that was quite emotional. But then because I didn't know better, I didn't even take it serious. But now active listening. I listen actively, coach. Now I put in my to-do list time out listening to hobby because he likes to
Mm,
talk. And if I
mm.
don't listen to him, who is going to listen to him? So
Wow.
this actually fear of the impact being in the inner circle has helped me in my
Ah,
life personally, my relationship with my children and with my husband.
wow. If this is few, we are in for a lot. Who listened to go one? She said, this is just few of the impact. I don't know if you were listening to her. She's been releasing so much metals. As you know how someone is gently putting things out. Did you catch it? Time out with hobby, listening to him. I've realized my husband likes me listening to him. So I have cuckoo designed a calendar so that I can sit down now and listen to him. And when she was sharing her journey, she said something very profound. She said, I started to run a business. I opened a bookshop because I was talking about the parenting that I was learning. In fact, Goma said something very striking. She said, if you have not started talking about the inner circle unconsciously, then you haven't really been immersed in it. So unconsciously, everywhere you go, that's what you talk about somehow. And she said, because she runs a pharmacy, people come into her pharmacy constantly saying, oh, this is what, and then you finish when you're consulting. I remember Dr. Yusuf saying that that's Celestina Yusuf. And by the way, I was there with her over the weekend, saying that in her consulting room is after your this and then inner circle, and it's like a consultation part of it. So that's what the same thing to go has spoken to us. So when patients come, but that gave me insight to now start a bookstore. So when I finished, I said, okay, so here is the book. And she said something. She said, the profit from that section of my business can get me to pay for years, inner circle, do stuff. So did you hear? It has also increased her financial stability. just being in the yard. And the one that was actually very striking to me was her coming out as the best graduating student for a course she had abandoned and said to herself, I beg ye, all these things, they are single people. They don't have, I cannot do it. I have children. It's not the same thing. Some people would meet me and say, something like Brenda was saying during her session, he said, coach has 2 children, me, I have 4. But if you continue complaining with coach, I have 2 children, I have 4, nothing will change. So you need to make a choice and say, okay, how do I do it me that is here? So what Ugonwa did was to say, you know what? Okay, I'm married, though, I'm doing this course. What do I do? And she said she tried to learn how to manage her energy cycle. You see that time and energy management class. In fact, next year, there is so much insight on that class that is going to be released. There was something I was reading recently. I was like, yeah, something that will even make you even, re-implement it. I found that out last year, and I have been working on it and we did. So it's easy for you to actually see me pop on your screen after a long time of popping. I saw some people beefing me with my popping live, right? And it's in the inner circle you learn how to actually pop. Trust me, you do the work, but you will pop eventually. And she actually said something. She said, I eventually graduated tops of my class, like wow. Come on, are you guys even clapping? You don't understand. And when Ugonwa was sharing, she said the same thing happened to her when she got into the inner circle. She saw people sharing wins. Hey, this is what is happening. A lot of people are sharing wins. She said, these people don't have work. We always feel that we are the busiest of them all. We are busier than other people. These people don't have work. And it's usually very, very interesting. If you do not know it, we have sons in the inner circle. We have judges in the inner circle. We have professors. Name it. Any category, people, GOs that run big churches. Any category of people you want to see. Celebrities. Anybody with their inside. And that was, she said when she now realized, these people are not small people. And they're actually doing this work. Somebody said that inner circle just humbles. All of us wears humility about that together. And we are working in that humility. Every one of us, right? And we are all working and we're all working together. Our main goal is to achieve, becoming better and raising our children better. And, during the retreat over the weekend that the couples concluded, I was teaching, the couples, and I had mentioned, I said, there is nothing that grows you like self-development. If you do not develop yourself, you are dead. Forget every other thing. That's how I am. You are dead. Every area of your life will be dead without you knowing. So even your marriage needs your self-development. Even your own marriage. Because in the inner circle, one of the things that happens to you is the awakening, the involvement, the how your body actually everywhere, your senses get turned on. You begin to think. I like when she talked about thinking. You begin to think. You see how she was giving 1, 2. You don't want on the 2 to test. That's how we do in the inner circle. Complete testing. By the time you are hearing the 2 being put together, and you're wondering, what's happening? What's happening? So no matter where you're coming from, no matter your profession, no matter who you are, all of us are parenting. Parenting is the leveler. I keep saying it. Parenting is the leveler. We all sit on that ground because that's where, no matter where you are. So whether you're listening to me now and thinking, I'm a consultant, I don't really have time, I have many patients and all of that. Oh, welcome to our world. I think the inner circle would have more than 100 consultants, doctors in the inner circle. That I'm sure, that I know. As in, they're plenty. Oh, I'm a professor. I don't really have time. We know plenty. There are a lot in the inner circle. Oh, I'm a celebrity. And should we start naming celebrities for you? Yes, somebody asked me the other day. Okay, Bokun was in the inner circle. I said she's been in the inner circle in 2020. Everybody is there. You are the only one that is outside. Thank you again, Ugonwa, for sharing with me. And if you are listening to me, we are sharing my intentional parenting journey 2024. And yes, like Clara said, that even with 4 children, we pop in the inner circle, we know how to do it. so that at the end of the day, we are popping, even with 6 children, we will pop to pop. We will come out looking all dolled up because we know what to do, right? So it's not about how easy you are. We need to find time to actually do it. We're going to talk to us. Your webinars. What will be your three favorite webinars?
Thank you, Coach. Um, I've been listening to the series. Like I said, this is my 10th month in the inner circle, so I've made it like a business to listen to people share their stories and their journeys. And I know that whenever it gets to this point, um, it's like, coach, is it just three? But then, like I said earlier, remember the concept of individualized therapy, right? So when I joined, when I see people share the fire emojis, I was like, again, ask me what's happening here because during the induction webinar, I've never really used that fire emojis. But then I said, why are they doing this? Do you know, coach? It was later I realized that people don't do that for fun. No. They
Hmm.
actually do it when something hits them.
Yes.
It hits you, you emit fire. The thing hits you, you emit fire. So uh, the webinar that I will talk about are really the ones that resonated with me because two persons can be listening to that's my husband. That's my
Yes, we
husband.
see you,
Yes,
Mr. Collins.
yes.
Shout out to
So
you.
so when you place yourself, submit yourself for the medical system to make a diagnosis for you and you humbly collect. So that collection, we say we're always collecting. We're just collecting our diagnosis with humility, with all humility. So my first webinar will be becoming an emotionally intelligent parent. Coach, there was a day I was on your thread on Facebook, and people were talking about where do I start, where do I start. I said, please, I'm advising you people, before you join the yard, go and take that course because that is there's something we call the rate limiting step in chemical reactions, right? The step that once you get it right, you're right. But once you miss it, you've missed it. So being becoming emotionally intelligent parent is the rate limiting step in your parenting journey
Hmm.
because you cannot parent a child if you have not become you've not mastered your emotions. It was then I started learning about cognitive function. I started learning about a lot of things, and I said, oh wow, I'm actually the problem, and I submit myself to be fixed. Like I said, I like to hold things. I want to be the one in charge. Softly, quietly, I won't be shouting, but in my mind, a lot of shouting. Let it be this way. Let it be that way. So I realized that, see, there's actually a better way to do these things. I have to have my emotions. Like God said, you are in charge of your emotions. And I was like, but they are making me to shout. They are not doing what they are supposed to do. So why shouldn't I shout? And she said, you no, that was that coach during the no yelling challenge. He said, you make yourself, she talked quietly. You make yourself to shout. You allow yourself to yell. So I said, I have to take responsibility for my emotions. So that course actually was a game changer for me because it kind of made me to now say, okay, now I'm ready to parent. Now I'm ready to learn. So I had my emotions in check. All those practices, strategies, okay, take your deep breaths, um smell the flower, blow the candles. I started practicing it. I said, so all these naughty corners, now me even suppose go the naughty corner to go and cool off. So all those go and stay in your naughty corner, go and kneel down. I said, I'm actually the one that should be in that naughty corner. So I should go and cool off. So God said something, get your children to hold you accountable. See, accountability, like from the voice note this morning, is first to yourself and then to God, to your partner, to the children, and then to your mentors and coaches. I said, see, anytime I make these statements, I'm having a hard time. Please, make una just leave me alone because I want to be left alone. So whenever my because it starts gradually and I'm trying to lose it. Coach will say, "Mommy, are you having a hard time?" I say, "Yes, my brother, I'm having a hard time." He will say, "Chedoze, Adamna, let's give mommy space. She needs to calm down." And then the brother will say, "But the person that is angry should get hugs. Let me hug her." Tochko will say, "I don't really think she needs that hug now. Let her calm down first." So whenever I make that statement, they just go. And I learned that from that course. So that course actually stood out for me. And my second webinar will be Who Am I Parenting? Coach, when you are on the other end of the ladder, your temperament, I'm melancholy, and then my husband is male flag, and then you're having a son that is a closan. Doesn't
Hmm.
make sense, And I was like, why is your own too much? I said, why can't you just be like your parents? And I was like, where did this boy get these things from? Because see me, I'm quiet, I'm meek. Your daddy is quiet. Why are you everywhere? Coach, I didn't realize the gift of the extras. I did
Hmm.
not realize the gift of the extras, that this was actually this my child's extra. And
Hmm.
coach said something, learn how to parent the child that you have, not the child you
The
would
one
want to
you have,
or you
not the
wish to
one you
have.
pray to have either.
Yes. Yes, because I remember those days I'll be praying, God, make him quiet. Let him not be talking too much. Let him not be asking me whys. Let him not be challenging me. Coach, that was actually the fear that if I allow this child, he's going to challenge me. Because I'm talking with a patient and I'm like, okay, this child will need an injection. Then don't you will come from nowhere. Mommy, don't you think tablets will be better? And I'm like, why are you challenging me? So it was that fear of what people would say. I remember a day I hit my son on the road because of what people will say. Because I felt they would say you don't have control over this child. It was from connect to correct that I realized that, or no, discipline is not an emergency, that I realized that for such children, you don't want to be at that place of having a power struggle with them because they will mess you up. Because then he will look me in the face and said, I don't think this is what I should do. And I'm like, you're just 7. So what will happen when you get to 10? So I feared that stage. When I hear people say boys can actually be a handful, I feared it. I said, let them not come and embarrass me. Let them not come and slap me. But I didn't know that once I connect to this child, like there is nothing we don't discuss. The other day, he said, Daddy, I think I had a wet dream. We started laughing. It was so funny. And then the dad, okay, took him to the bathroom and then realized that, okay, no, nothing. So he said, how did he hear that? I said, stay there. Oh. We have structured sex conversations every Tuesday because Tuesdays I get to stay with them late in,
Hmm.
as in the remaining part of the evenings. Unlike other days, I'll be away and they'll be with their dad. I said, we know a lot of things. Oh, he said, oh my God, thank God for TIP. When did I get to know about wet dreams? When did I get to know what this meant? But see, Tuchu is 8. He's already knowing these things. So it was that cause that made me to now sit down to study and say, God, who am I parenting? And not just to pray about it, but to study. We had a lot of books to read then. I remember even the temperaments, we did the temperament study together. And then I realized, okay, you actually a closer, and this is the way I should parent you. And then I also learned from that course never to compare children because they just have their individualities. The second, his younger brother is a male flag just like me. Coach, it was during that month when we are having our book reviews that my husband saw the need
Hmm.
to, really feel the impact of TIP in our home. Because then he will always laugh and say, Coach Wendy's daughter, See her carrying her book with my big book. I say, okay, oh, no worry, no worry. So I'll be writing, I'll be jotting. So even in the evening, I'll bring out the book. Okay, this is the tool for the day. This is how we are going to do it. Thinking about how to get it done. And then one of those days, I was listening to the book review because I already implemented a system, a structure. Like while driving home every night, I listen to the book reviews. So that day, it was a short drive. So I got home earlier and I was playing it at home. And then I didn't know he was listening. Coach already taught us about intentional programming, deliberate programming. So he was listening about the different temperaments and how to go about with raising them. He now told me, hmm, do you know I heard something the presenter said? That was a book review in my cohort. That he now he has come to understand why he feels more like the attraction between him and the second son because they share the same temperament. But for the first one, he felt he was just doing too much. He was just doing too much. Coach, that was how he now realized that, oh, this thing is actually working and it's something that we should pay more attention to. And coach, at that point, I didn't need to. In fact, I never shouted about it. I never talked about you must be in the inner circle, you must do this. When I sent him the link for the fathers conference, coach, thank you so much for that. For that. In fact, TIP gives you access to a lot of resources. A lot of resources. At the point I said, why is this why is this excellence even above 100%? Because you can't even believe it that that summit was free. That conference was free for fathers. So when I sent the link to my husband, I just told him, sweet, I think you should register for this. It's for fathers. And coach said, let me not catch any mother there. Oh. Nobody should go there. And then before I left for work that evening, he was on the bed trying to listen to the conference. The next thing, he just jumped up. He was running. I said, ah, what happened again? He went and brought a book from his bag and started writing. He was writing. He was writing. And I said, Coach Kunle's son, how far? So when I was already at work, then he sent me a message. He said, sweet, hey, where have I been? Oh? I say, what happened? He said, it's like they just brought out all the fathers, told them to lie down, and they were just beating them, flogging them. And when they flog you with so much knowledge and information, you will not be like, he don't do, it's okay. He said, oh my God, where have I been? Where have I been? He held my hands and said, thank you so much for doing this. I'm with you now. We are going to be doing it together. So, and I said, so what did they even tell people in that conference? He was flipping through the pages. As in, I said, when people say precept upon precept, it was like page upon page, as in a lot of action plans and what he had to do. Coach, my husband is a consultant pediatrician and he was into a lot of private practices. And then, because of what he saw, he said, see, time is actually the greatest asset in parenting. And I need to have this time. Not just, and now that you are in the inner circle, you're going to be telling me what to be doing with the time, not just to have the time. He had to resign from two places. And when his colleagues were like, are you okay? The economy is getting worse. Is this not a time for you to even want to get more? He said, no, I don't want to eat my tomorrow today. That was what he said. He said, I don't want to eat my tomorrow today. I have seen what is worth it, and I'm going to put in the time. And
Mm.
I'm so happy that during the annual conference, he was there back to back. He was jotting. In fact, sincerely, he has booked a slot for the Marisol Academy because he said what what they did to them in that father's conference, he will not just forget it. So I'm so happy. That was how, that who am I parenting? The book review. So sometimes even the little things that we think they don't really matter, just book review. That was how I got my husband to, buy into the I was playing it. I said, I won't tell you to come and listen, but I'm sure know that one day you will listen to it. Then the next resource I want to talk about is the coaching, the coach is for the children, because it's one thing for you to be saying these things. Like coach will say, when you get to a particular level, you no longer become the most influential person in your child's life. So one of those days, the two was to ask your children, who is your coach? She now said, so coach said something. Coach he said, don't go and be shouting no and say, who, why is that person
Who
your
is your
coach? Eh?
mentor? Who is
Who
your
is your
mentor?
mentor? Don't go and be saying, why is it, why are you choosing David as your mentor? Are you okay? Are you not seeing me reading the Bible? Say, just calmly collect whatever they give you. And like one other will say, whenever your children, whatever they display is just like your report card. That's what you've been doing, intentionally or unintentionally. So when I ask them, I say, Nwa, who is your mentor? They say, mommy and my daddy. I say, no, now, just no, not us. He said, God. I said, no, 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 just another person. He said, I don't know another person, coach. I was happy because it was still like a clean slate. Immediately, I went to search for Coach Ebuka and Coach Ruth. I said, see these people, do you know them? They say no. I quickly told them what they do and how they've been, mentoring boys. And they said, okay, Coach Ebuka is our mentor. Coach Ebuka is our mentor. So it was cool that he talked about the Boys Leadership Academy, go to camps, go to boot camps. I know here, I decided to fly by instructions. Oh. Anyone coach said, me, I'm running. How do I do it? I may not be able to do it the same way she will paint the picture, but I shall have to do it. When she talked about responsibility for the boy child, I said, we had routines. Coach, because I changed my dynamics, my that system of taking them to the pharmacy, I had to say, okay, I want to teach you independence, but I can't do that in this tiny place. I had to start taking them home. Just had like an overhaul of my structures, my systems, and at home with pair learning. And because I've got some level of emotional intelligence, I was able to teach, because a lot of parents don't want to teach their children because they know that they cannot.
Hmm.
If you don't have that emotional stability, you will just make a mess. You will see yourself, you're trying to teach a child how to wash plates. We even kuma say, oh yeah, go, don't wash again, I'll start washing, because you've not got that emotional stability. So that change in our dynamics helped me to have time with them, start teaching them skills. My our son, he can wash the toilet now, coach, very well. I say, who am I? See me now, flexing, baby girl lifestyle. I don't. My sister came around and she said, I said, no, Tochko will handle that. Tochko will do that. Tochko will do that. He said, just like that. I said, don't worry now. He said, he won't woke up, he had his routine and he started doing that because I decided to make time to build these skills. So when they went for the boot camp, it was so easy. I didn't even have to talk so much. My husband said, anything from Coach Wendy, anything from there is reliable. They had to do their course at home before going to the boot camp, and it was so easy sending a 7-year-old and a 6-year-old to boot camp. And finally, they were fine. Last, like Coach said, nobody died. So when, but then like I said, it's not about perfection. We still had challenges, we had issues, but I don't know how Coach does this thing. That's why I know that the curriculum in the inner circle is from the throne of God, sincerely, because it will just come and hit you and meet you at that point where you needed it. First day in camp, in the boot camp, we started seeing the pictures, and I saw our son. He was not looking happy, and I said, why is he not enjoying the camp now? But he said he had always wanted to say, who is ready for tonight? That's the song they used to sing. I said, why is he not enjoying the camp? But I saw his younger one, he was happy, he was jovial. I told my husband, there's problem, oh. But you know what? Because I'm an intentional parent, I have to think, we have to think, this is a deficiency. How do we solve this? So coach that morning now came and gave something about the gift of perspective. He said, don't just come and say you have failed. Eh? After all the things I've done for you, after all the things I've done for you. I said, what do we need to teach now? Because when he came back, I said, so what happened? He said, Mommy, I was homesick. I said, homesick, wow, but you said you wanted to go to camp. He said he was even asking his younger brother, see how you're just enjoying your life, flexing, while I'm here missing mommy and daddy and Adanna. He said, but we are here to enjoy ourselves with Coach Ebuka. Why are you sad? So, so I now called him. I said, okay. I started thinking, I said, so what actually was the problem? He talked about homesickness, he was missing us. And then he said, sometimes they didn't even do some fun things I like. I said, fun things like what? He said, fun things like praying, pray for a long time, maybe read 1 or 3 chapters of the Bible. I said, but you had devotion. He said, it was for a short time. I said, okay, because we call him Pastor Tochku in our house. So I now sat down, coach, because you've taught us to think. I had to bring in the story of David in the wilderness for him. We started talking about preparation, we started talking about independence, we started talking about what will help you, to be able to impact your world. You have to learn independence. And he told me something. He said, Mommy, next boot camp, I'm not going to allow homesickness to rob me of my joy. And he now said, whenever that thought comes, I'm going to tell that thought. I remember when it was Coach Ben that taught us healing from childhood trauma. He said, you don't have to, you have to address it. So I taught him that even when that thought comes, just tell it, homesickness, just hold on, I'm here for a reason. And that was how we were able to solve that. Coach, before I would have said, do you know how much I spent? Do you know the stress I had to pass through to take you to Barimpa and then come back and then go and pick you? I didn't do that because I have learned that this is this child and I've learned to parent this child. And our daughter is 3. Coach said something about start from where you are. Start from where you are. I said, how do I get this my child to know sex education? How do I get to sex educate her like a pro, even at this young age? And just your no go tell was enough. One day she came back and said, Mommy, somebody touched my vagina. I said, oh, my brother said the way she even caused the vagina. I said, because we've decided to, not to demonize these words. I remember Coach Etima would say, oh yeah, stand in front of the mirror. Oh yeah, be saying it, vagina, vagina, penis, penis, you'll be fine. So when I asked her, I realized that she was passing, and then the one of her classmates, kind of they as if they were just trying to pass through a tight corner, and then the boy's hand now touched her. And I said, okay, I had to sit her down and we had to talk. So if I had not taught her that this is the name, I said just telling them the names of those body parts is enough. And then we have taught them that no part of your body is private. So at every stage, no matter how old your child is, the inner circle connection tools will always get you, to know what to say and what to do. So that will take me to the last webinar, and I've already talked about it, time and energy management. So that was for me. That was for me. So what I'm doing now and where I'm going to, I know that a lot has been sown into my life, and I'm so so grateful. So I have other webinars on as a skill and all,
Uh,
but this
if
resonated
if we
with me.
leave Ugonwa at this rate, we're not going to leave here. You see the way she's just talking slowly but surely. And she's just saying it like, see, this thing, I am going to talk it to the end. Thank you so much, Ugonwa, for sharing your journey. In fact, so striking. So striking is the fact that you are able to chronicle your journey intentionally. Like you are, they are not mincing words. So when people say, all these things you people are sharing, are you sure? Are they real? I'm like, I don't understand. I'm hearing these things for the first time. How do I even really How do you really begin to put it all in place? I love the way she shared how she got her husband to be on the same page. So yes, welcome again, sir. We have another consultant in our midst. So that's it. We are increasing. Maybe very soon we'll open in a second hospital at this rate. I don't know why we have more doctors than we have, any other profession. Interestingly, I don't know why. Maybe there is something about that system. That's like we'll do a research to find out. It was so interesting to listen to her and look at how she was able to get her husband. No noise, no, just gently. And we're here today, all of us. And that job made me laugh. She said her husband used to call her Coach Wendy's daughter, and all of a sudden, he said, well, a day reached. I had to say, you too, Coach Kule's son, are you there? I'm sure that really cracked me up. Thank you again, Ugonwa, for sharing your journey with us. It's been an amazing journey. If I tell Ugonwa now to tell us about her top three books, come on, we're not going to leave here. Ugonwa, share only one in 1 minute. In 1 minute, what I was blind, now I can see. What is your top book in the inner circle?
Coach, my best book is Connect to Correct. Like I already said, it's like Bobo Nishe, one medicine cures all.
So connect to correct habit. So yes, connect to correct is usually the first book that we read. We actually would start with the media plan and the family value plan in the inner circle, and then we move to connect to correct. But while Ugonwa is sharing with us, Ugonwa, talk to someone who is listening to you, who was like you, who felt I have the money, but this thing is not relevant. I beg, why am I dashing them 100,000? I can do it. Why are they even teaching people how to parent? Can do this thing all by myself. I don't need anyone. Talk to us.
Okay, ma. So, like I said earlier, if cost is your challenge, if I'll just quickly remind you of what one of the others said about the concept of opportunity cost. So I wrote somewhere, I said, would you rather make your parenting a foregone alternative?
Hmm.
Because for every costs, anything you decide to spend your money on, there's always an opportunity cost. So would
Hmm.
you rather make your parenting the foregone alternative? So
Hmm.
you need to know that we are co-creators with God. I think when that sank in, it made me to realize that yes, there's actually is really important. The seeds in our hands, the children we have, they are destinies that God has instructed into our hands. So would you want them to be refined? Because that gift of extra in our son is actually what is giving him the confidence. The proprietress called me. He said, where is this boy getting this confidence from?
Hmm.
Because during their last year party, they were asked to dance and he stood still. And she called him and said, Tochko, why are you not dancing? She said, I'm sorry, ma. I can't dance to this kind of music because it's not part of our media plan. And
Oh.
she said, what is your media plan? She said, media plan. He talked up. The proprietor turned and looked at me. I said, yes. So he said, oh yeah, try and dance. Now parents are wondering why the best students in grade 3 is not dancing. He said, I'm sorry, ma, I won't be able to dance. And he stood still. So when they started playing his favorite artist, Frank Edwards, he started dancing. And the parents turned and said, is it not this same boy that refused to dance? I said, yes, this one is in our media plan. I would have I would have shut down this extra because I didn't know. But when I realized that, okay, I'm a co-creator with God, I need to refine this talent. Now, his talking, his speech, his confidence is being refined because it's a journey, it's being refined. And then I see it doing so much. I see it doing so much. So anywhere he goes, people ask me, where is he getting this confidence from? Why is he behaving maturely? Why would his Sunday school teacher give him a laptop and say, okay, we should be watching this thing while I set up? And he said, excuse me, sir, I can't watch this because I don't look into people's devices. And the young
Oh,
man said, but I'm your teacher. I can't mislead you. He said, yes, you're my teacher, but I don't look into people's devices because I can see a
correct.
bad picture. And the man said, but there's no bad picture in my phone. And
How
he
will I
said,
know?
no, sir, is not part of our media plan. We need to stay safe by not looking into people's phone. The man called me and said, where is he getting the confidence from? I said, is the extra in him. I'm just trying to refine him because I've come to understand that these destinies are so important. Coach, you made
Mm,
one comment that scared me during the back to school master class. You said something. You said, if you as a parent don't get to do the work God has called you to do, depending on the kind of destiny he has put into your hands, he can take you away. Hey,
yep.
he said, my God. I asked my husband, please, what is the meaning of this taking away? He said, I don't know. But the taking away could be literally, it could be anything. So I said, I don't want to be taken away. I know that I have precious destinies in my hands and I have to
Mm.
be around. I have to do the work. So please, let's know you have the money but you don't know, you don't think it's necessary. Is that necessary? Because you have precious destinies committed into your hands and you have to do the work. Like my coach will say, whether you do the work now, the time now, or you do it later, but we choose to do it now because it pays to do it now. Thank you very much, coach. I'm so
Wow,
grateful to
wow, wow, wow. Somebody said we should put Tochukwu for president. Who will ever even forget Tochukwu after today? We cannot. Tochukwu is the one that came to do my personal parenting journey today, not to go on. Tochukwu, shout out to you. And you find out that a child is actually able to actually start. I say, you see this thing, we don't do it. While Ugonwa was sharing, I remember when a family friend had come to the house and told our son, you have internet, you're not playing game online. Why? Like nobody will even know. My son turned and said, it's not about anybody knowing, it's about me. I'm trying to save my head, my own head. Let me not go and see what I don't want to see. I should not be seeing. And look at how much confidence, how much knowledge. So beyond confidence is competence. Ah, yeah. Because your child can be competent and then most of us are raising very confident, empty children. I call them the root generation. Children who just speak, open their mouth, and just talk. No, we're talking about the competence that precedes confidence. So the child is actually, speaking, and the child is your challenge. You're like, wow. I remember one of those, days. Our son was going to be given an award in school, and when he climbed the stage, the MC said, one of the things that is very clear about Ayo is that he speaks the wisdom of an old man. The whole echoed and laughed but it is the competence that children have actually been put in that exudes the confidence and makes it the real confidence, not the I just want to just run my mouth and just talk. And that's where refining the extra comes in. So it's understanding that Ugonwa and her husband has actually found in the inner circle that have helped them to refine the extra, because she could have just said, you shut up, oh, and all of that, and not refine that extra that young man had. That young man is for the president. Please bring him already. We want to vote him. Thank you so much for joining us today. And it's been an interesting, amazing journey. Ugonwa came here softly dishing all sorts. She has dished to us how her finances grew, how her husband, in fact, shout out to you, Dr. Collins. Was sharing how her husband had to drop some stuff and focus and say, this parenting, I actually want to do it. And even when his colleagues were wondering, what's wrong with you? This is the time that the economy is diving. We need to find a way to actually even make money. And he said, yes, I know. We'll have to find another way, work around it. But in the now, there is something important. And do not forget, there's something called the forgotten alternative. Will you rather do the time later? I was listening to an inner circle parent whose child has been in rehab for the past almost 5 years. This guy did drugs for 3 years and she didn't know. I met her, sat down with her in Lagos. She joined the inner circle just 10 months ago. But her son has been in rehab. And she said to me, if some parents know what they have in the inner circle, they will take it like their life is dependent on it. He said, Coach, I know what I'm saying. He said, I had it all. My husband was the highest, one of the highest ranking military officers. Everything, had it. But here I am, battling with a child that is actually struggling with her. And hey, I am doing the time now. I don't have a choice. And I'm talking about someone whose last child is about 16. So wherever you have been, wherever you are coming from. Somebody sent me a child this morning. My child is just 1 month. Is it time to join the inner circle? I said, we run, run. I see somebody in the comment section who asks, "Oh, I'm single. When will I join the inner circle?" I'm still saying, "Biko, start already." It was Justice Omora that actually said to me, "Our children are young in the 20s." He said, "In 2025, all of them are joining me. Let's find ourselves together." The beginning, please, I beg of you, don't make your parenting a forgotten alternative. That's not one of the things you should do. Ugonwa, what will be your last words to parents listening to you as we wrap up this morning?
Okay, coach. I think I've said a lot, and I'll just this is a reminder to everyone that has booked a slot. It is that important. Complete your payments and join the inner circle. Coach Ebuka will say, the flood is coming. Flood na abia. And I think I heard him say, the flood is here. Flood abia go. Sorry, if you can't
Mm.
hear him, go find an interpreter. The flood is here. So, would you rather be in the ark of safety or you want to be carried away? So, be that parenting advantage. Don't let your child, you know, get angry much later because your his or her parent didn't do what they were supposed to do. So please join the arc, complete your payment. Remember 2022, I booked though, but I didn't complete the payment. So if you have booked a slot, go and complete your payments today so that you can enter into the ark of safety. Thank you so much, Coach Wendy. I'm so grateful. In this short period, I've seen my life, transformed 360-degree transformation. And I'm like, it's only in the yard that you're still in 2024 and you're planning for 2025. I've listened to Yada share their testimonies. In fact, it was during one of the series that I decided that I'm going to get more journals. I'm going to get more books because I realized that the book I got it wasn't enough. So I'm that structured. I've learned structure that now for webinars I'm going to have a separate journal. For Tuesday lives I'm going to get a special journal for voice notes because the voice notes they are like webinars on their own. Like this morning, the voice notes is like a webinar. So why won't I get a separate journal for that? You know, down to TIP annual summit. I've planned. In fact, I can't. I know that 2025 is going to be glorious just by being in the arc. I'm not even in other platforms being active because I know that here I'm getting everything here. So it's just like someone that has set his eyes on a goal. This is my focus. I'm already focusing on my focus. So please 2025 is already popping according to coach because if 2024 is like this and she said we've not even seen it is well oh, we are here for the best. So thank you
Thank
coach,
you so
complete your
much.
payment and join
Ugonwa.
and join the app. Thank you ma'am,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much,
everyone
Ugonwa.
for
Thank you
listening.
so much for the honor to share this platform with you. I love you. I honor you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you ma'am.
It's been such a pleasure hearing your journey. Your journey is inspiring. I know that quite a number of people who listened to you this morning have been inspired. Somebody wrote in the comment section and said, I've been seeing this inner circle and this therapy. I didn't know that it was this robust. Oshe, you are there in the one-stop bus stop of everything. I heard how Goa ended it. She said, focus on your focus. Inner circle is my focus. Every other thing we move. That's where we're here. That's why we are here. All right. And you wonder why people tell you, Coach, just give, let me pay for inner circle 5 years. That's the latest one I heard in Lagos. I'm like, which one is paying in advance for 5 years? What does that even mean? You know, when we started, the Ugonwa said when she joined, she felt that in 1 year, these people will get tired. I tell you, we don't run out, right? When you run on the eagle's wing, you know that Bible scripture that said how Elisha ran faster than a chariot. That is the energy that God has actually given us, running faster than chariots. Thank you so much, ma'am, and shout out to you and your family. Please kiss Tochukwu for us when you see him. All right? Hug him and kiss him for us, and shout out to you, Dr. Collins. Thank you for being here. Take your flowers. Please, you know that fire emoji Ugonwa said before when she used to hear fire emoji, she used to think, why are they sharing fire emoji? Fire emojis are real. You will see and your hand will touch the fire. Thank you so much. I'm going to let you go now. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
You have listened to my intentional parenting journey 2024. We had a Ugonwa pharmacist came here and she chronicled her journey in such a sweet way. I don't know who else sat down here to actually listen to her. There's so much to take away. Her implementation process in 10 months has wowed me. Like, I'm like, who are you? Come on now. Like, who is she, Steph? What? How did she implement this whole thing just like that in 10 months? Come on. And, you know, she said something very striking. She said, I just run with the instruction as it's landing. I'm looking for a way. Coach said, we are running. That's the way to actually get it. And if you're not in the inner circle yet, 2025, we have done cohort 1, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. We are entering I today. So we're getting into cohort 1I. We're on body. We're going to get to a point where we cannot unboard you. And when you come, we'll tell you wait for 2025. You know, we are the couples conclave retreat over the weekend. We found out that we're about 23 couples or something of that nature. We realized we can't have more than 25 couples on ground for a retreat. So the retreat has been opened up for, so everybody who came for the retreat said they are coming back. So that means there are just only 3 or 4 slots or so that is there. And we're like, talk, no problem. That's the only thing we can open up. So it's the same thing when we actually are going to walk through, you know, the inner circle. We can only take the people we can cater for, because there is no need having 1 million people without impact. I do not believe that I can have numbers without impact. There's no need. In our numbers lies the impact, the transformation. So we say that the inner circle is the expectation, is the transformation. So it's not, oh, my life, I don't know what it is that's going to happen to me and all of that. No. You get into a space where you know, we tell you with exactitude where you will be in 10 months. It's with exactitude. You apply this is where you will be. As in there's no, it's not kaluka, right? It's not, oh, I don't know, I really am not sure. No. And this is why the slots are now here. Please book now. 100,000 naira per year. Trust me. It is almost like you are in a free class. When I say it, I say without mincing words. That's 293 naira per day. It cannot get you a bottle of Coke, like one Yada said. Please pay the price now. Do not make your parenting a forgotten alternative. Pay it now so that you can have peace tomorrow. Again, if you don't do the time now, you will do it tomorrow. Either way, you will pay the price. The inner circle registration goes soon. As soon as that number just gets there, we just shut down and say, okay, please book and wait for next year. A time will come when if you don't have a booking, you can actually join at all. So yes, please book now, get into the yard, and don't book and just stay in one place. Just pay your money, get on board, start getting your books. Inner circle parents have been sending me, comments. The new inner circle incoming. They've been sharing their books, complete book stack. I'm just loving it. Coach, all my books are ready. Let's go. I can't wait for December 1st. December 1st is our Christmas. Don't be lost. Thank you so much for joining me. See you tomorrow, 1st of October, 8 o'clock. It's October. Yes, October starts tomorrow, and we're going to be here 8 o'clock sharing on my intentional parenting journey. I can't wait to host you again. All right. And if you're here listening to me, ensure that you get into the yard and, of course, take action today of all the things that you've heard. See you anywhere, everywhere, but of course, yarders. See you in the yard. And shout out to all the yarders that I spent time with 4 days ago. Shout out to you guys. It was amazing. Of course, Dr. Collins, I hear that you're already getting into the conclave. We'll see you at the retreat next year. Shout out to you guys, Dr. Yusuf, Dr. Celestina, Stan Obie, Dr. Obie. I think it was such an amazing day. All righty, your amazing weekend. See you guys, Dr. Celestina. I see you. See you guys tomorrow and see you in the yard.